My family loves homemade pickles. We always have a few jars waiting to be cracked open as soon as the last one is empty. What I love about pickles most is its minimum effort for maximum impact. Root vegetables are always a safe bet. They make delicious and super crunchy bites. Here I have turnip, kohlrabi, green radish. The celery here is a bit old, so I will break in the middle and just pull away and discard the threads. In young or in the heart of the celery, this might not be necessary. Price-wise, usually cheap and are next to nothing during season. It's a great way to salvage vegetables. We don't throw away food. Often I'll grab all the tired-looking vegetables, give them a new lease of life by preserving them as delicious pickles or chutneys, and clean out the fridge at the same time. All the peelings go in a bag for the compost. Chop in the vegetables in bite sizes, to fit in the jars. My jars are quite small as I recycle glass jars and I have not bought preserving jars in decades. I like my vegetables not shredded or too small because I do like a bite into a pickle. Some people do prefer to shred in a mandolin or use a KitchenAid. Whatever you prefer, there is no right or wrong way. Yes, there is quite a bit of chopping and peeling, which is why I don't chop too small as well. Why work so hard? Quick chops just gets the job done fast and no fuss. I don't use vinegar in my pickles, only salt, water and the vegetables' juices to make the brine. Without vinegar, this is called lacto-fermentation, producing the healthy probiotics, encouraging our gut flora and improves our whole digestive system. By the way, did you know that the gut is also called the second brain, and 70 to 80% of our entire immune system lives in our gut? Pickling is just one form of food preservation steeped in tradition. It's an ancient way to save and keep food long after its past fresh date. There are classic combinations of what vegetables to pickle, but more than often I open my fridge and just pickle whatever is there. A quick clean out of the fridge. So it's great for budgeting families and anyone who's mindful of their finances. And I never buy preserving jars. It's just something that I don't need to spend more money on. They take way too much space, are big, and once open, the pickles lose its vitality fast. Instead, I like to recycle glass jars. The biggest holds no more than 1 kilo and they are perfect for my family of 5. Making a lot of homemade pickles sitting on my windowsill is so heartwarming. We can open a jar and finish in one sitting. Most important, they always stay fresh and crunchy. This is the way I've been pickling for years. It just makes so much sense. And I love not spending on preserving jars and using up the vegetables that I would otherwise need to throw away. And you have no idea how much I hate to throw food. An added bonus, they make fantastic instant food gifts. I can grab a jar on the way out when visiting friends or family. Perfect, easy and tasty gift. If I have a picnic or a gathering to come, what should I bring? Easy, it's a real no-brainer. Frees my mind for other things. A good tip here, in order to minimize cleanup, is I toss all the cut vegetables into a clean shopping bag. After usage, I'll even clean the shopping bags and use it again. Nothing goes to waste. Everything in our household is recycled and recycled multiple times. It's a mindset. We live in such a wasteful... It's good to be conscious of where we can save, not just for finances, but it's not about being frugal, more about being sensible, not wasteful. Lacto-fermentation produces a good bacteria called lactobacillus. It's one of the good guys and exactly what we want for our bodies and particularly our gut for a healthy digestive system and importantly a strong immune system. Pickling with only brine, a solution containing only salt and water, does take a little longer than the pickles that uses vinegar, but it also doesn't need sugar, unlike pickling with vinegar that does. For me, this is non-negotiable, as I do not use any artificial sugars, dairy or white flour in my cooking. Now, what kind of spices can be used? I advise to think of colour as well as taste. You can never go wrong with garlic, allspice, mustard seeds, black to contrast with white pickles, or yellow mustard seeds to contrast against red or green pickles. And chili flakes, red chili flakes, are always my go-to flavourings for pickling. Depending on the vegetables, there will always be opportunities to be racier and to play with all sorts of other spicing. Discovery is part of the fun. This strange looking vegetable is called a Jerusalem artichoke. They are amazingly crunchy and definitely worth seeking out. I don't bother to peel them. It's just another job I don't need to do. But you do need to thoroughly wash them as it's a root vegetable and mud can easily get stuck in the small crannies. So just give it a good wash and they are super, super crunchy and delicious. Tossing all the cut vegetables into the bag for minimum cleanup after. Now we weigh the cut vegetables. Every 800 grams of prepared vegetables, we add 1 tablespoon of non-iodine salt. Sprinkle and massage very well, coating all the vegetables with the salt. Leave it to rest till all the juices starts to cover the vegetables. Leave at least overnight. My lot can start eating them the day after. Of course, the longer they ferment, the better they are. I like my pickles to bite back with crunch, texture, flavour and attitude. Pickles are great side dishes as well as crunchy condiments. A refreshing contrast to the main dish. I need texture, I need colour and I need flavours bursting out. Confession. Often the pickles are the discreet stars at a dinner table. Mouth-smacking, brash and bold attitude in every bite. Pickles is a lifesaver. The kids can help themselves to a jar of pickles. No cooking, no prepping, and best, I'm not needed. Yay! It's become a tradition in the family. Another comfort food, making a house into a home. Here you can see the brine just from the natural juices of the vegetables. And now I'm going to use the brine of my pickles from my previous batch. So you see everything gets recycled. The brine and also the pickling spices from my last batch too. It's vital to keep the vegetables submerged under the brine. Any exposed vegetables could encourage mold and that we don't want. So I'm going to mix the fresh brine from our vegetables with the old brine left in the jar from my last batch. This will be enough to cover the pickles and keep them fully submerged. Remember, as the pickles ferment, juices will continue to seep out. So don't be alarmed if you see a pool around your jars. If you want to prevent this, it's a good tip to place the jars in a tray or some dish to catch it, so as not to make a mess. There are all sorts of ways of keeping the vegetables under the brine. As you can see here, I used a small container to push down all the veggies and herbs so that everything is really covered because it's super vital. I like to cook with colour, so I'm going to add some red chili flakes because it's nice to see the red flecks in the jars. Once again, you can see that I'm using a small container that I'm just going to press as down as I can until I see the brine coming up, and then closing the lid quickly. Make sure it's tight and secure, turn it upside down so that nothing is leaking out. These can be eaten as early as tomorrow, but yes, they will taste better the longer they ferment. Also in the summer, pickles ferment much faster than in this winter. You can leave them in a dry, dark place, but I usually just line them up on the windowsill because I like to see them, and frankly, my lot will pounce on them sooner than later. These jars just don't stand a chance. They just don't hang around long enough, which is a good thing. I grew up in a family-run restaurant with delicious food all around. There were always fresh ingredients or prepped food ready to be cooked. Never so much actual dishes, as everything was made fresh. I grew up in a Chinese restaurant. Working efficiently and fast was vital. Making the most of the ingredients and cooking with maximum flavour and taste at a cost-effective price is a must for any restaurant to be successful. So I guess naturally I am simply continuing that same way of cooking style in my own kitchen and with my own kids. If you like this video, please remember to hit the subscribe button. I am on Instagram and Facebook, Too Tired to Cook. Please let me know in the comments what you would like to learn more. Until next time, happy cooking!